Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got your Week 18 start and sit video for the quarterback position. Most leagues have obviously ended, and of course in unfortunate ways. Hopefully Damar Hamlin is getting through this healthy, and he's able to come out through this in a positive way. But with everything that had happened to the Buffalo Bills and Bengals game, most people's teams did end in Week 17, which is very traditional. Now, there are some leagues that do play through the Week 18, or even some leagues to 17 and 18 combined. And with everything that has occurred, a lot of folks may have even gone that route with 17 and 18 combined to hopefully determine who your champion is going to be in your fantasy league. So hopefully this video is going to help you guys determine some players that should be starting this week. Most teams, if you look at what's going on, are playing their starters. There are a few teams that may not. I bring up like the Giants, for example, may have no reason to absolutely play. Nothing's been necessarily said yes or no. So I'm not going to mention certain players that I have not heard confirmation of those players playing. But I do want to mention that there are teams that have locked in things, or they're just completely out of it. Like Fields has been announced, he's not playing. So that's a big hit. So again, just pay attention to all your news outlets, whether it be through us or any of your other news stations that you get all your information from to stay in connected with these quarterbacks. Now, this is the obvious start at quarterback that will be playing. This is a so far good shot at playing. Hurts is the only one that I have some hesitation on because nothing's been said yet with his injury. But the rest of the quarterbacks here that I have in the obvious start, they're playing. There's no reason not to play them this week. Feel confident in that. So I like these guys of obvious starts. Now, the first quarterback I mentioned as a good start this week is Trevor Lawrence versus the Titans. This is the Saturday game. This is very, very big. This game is huge. And I know a lot of people are kind of nervous with Trevor Lawrence because he just had a really big flop against Houston, but there was no reason for him to even play that game. Now, the way he played was as if he wasn't playing that game. So that is a little bit of a nerve-wracking thing, but Houston's actually done a pretty good job against the pass, so I'm not completely shocked there. Now, the last outing that Trevor Lawrence had against the Tennessee Titans, he put up 33 points in fantasy. Do I see the same exact result? Not necessarily, but I do see him in the 20 to 25-point range because the Titans are horrible against quarterbacks. They allow 294 passing yards. They're allowing 20.4 points to quarterbacks as well. So again, this is a really good matchup for Trevor Lawrence. Not so much for the Tennessee Titans. This should be a fun little game on Saturday to determine who's going to get the AFC South and, of course, move on to the playoffs. Another quarterback I like this week is Kirk Cousins versus the Bears. Look, Bears defense has been struggling quite a bit. I know Cousins dropped a dud for a lot of people in last week. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably lost if you guys are happen to watch this and you guys are just watching for fun. But Vikings need this win if they have any possible chance of just keeping their seeding and things like that and just kind of get their momentum going into this playoffs. The Bears are allowing 26.7 points to the quarterback the last 3 games. They're allowing an average of 217 passing yards as well. So this is a really good matchup for Kirk Cousins. I do see this as a turnaround game for him. Chicago has really nothing to play for. So again, unless they just want to play spoil and just give another loss to the Vikings, I don't see a lot of pushback from that team. Another quarterback I like this week is Aaron Rodgers versus the Lions. This is the Sunday night game, the last game of Week 18. Rodgers had a good game last week. He didn't put up crazy amount of points, but he had a pretty good game. And he should have some success in this really continuous poor Lions secondary. This Lions defense has struggled a lot. Lions are allowing 265 passing yards and an average of 23.2 points to quarterbacks. There's a lot of line for this game, obviously, for either team to get into the playoffs. So it's going to be a really fun game. It's going to be a great Sunday night game. Both offenses are looking to obviously turn it up in this game, and I like both of them. Jared Goff's a nice little one. I put Jared Goff as an obvious because I like the way he's been playing. But I like Aaron Rodgers as well. I like him in this matchup. Now, as far as the quarterback I'm sitting this week is Justin Herbert versus the Broncos. Broncos earlier this season held him to 9.2 points. Now, I understand that was without Keenan Allen in the lineup. But even with that said, Herbert has been averaging 11 points the last 3 games, and that was with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams in their lineup. So there's no excuse this time. Herbert's just not performed very well, especially in the fantasy world. Now, Broncos do a really good job defensively. I do see this as a game that I don't know. It's such a weird one because Broncos have nothing to play for. Chargers still obviously want to win because playoffs is always a big thing. Even though they've clinched, they still want to win. We'll see how much they play Justin Herbert in this game, but right now I'm not really feeling confident in playing him this week. Another quarterback I'm sitting this week is Mike White versus the Dolphins. Last 2 games, Miami has actually done pretty well against QBs, holding Aaron Rodgers to 14 points, Mac Jones to 16 points. White laid a big dud against a really soft Seattle defense last week. I thought that was going to be a bigger game for him, but he unfortunately really performed poorly in that one. This game is a lot of line for, again, playoff purposes, so there's going to be a full game in this one. Now, Miami's not going to have Tua or Bridgewater in this game, so that's going to be a nice little interesting play as far as this matchup goes, which I would say if Tua was playing and the Dolphins are scoring like they could against, even though a tough Jets defense, Mike White would be forced to do some garbage time and might have a better game. But this game is probably going to be played pretty close, probably through the running game, very little passing. I just don't like Mike White this week. Sam Darnold's another quarterback I'm looking at sitting this week against the Saints. Saints held quarterbacks to 11.5 points the last 3 games. They've also taken an interception at least out of the last 3 or 4 games. So they've gotten some turnovers out of the quarterbacks. Darnold has played well. He's got a really great connection with DJ Moore, but with DJ Moore being covered most likely by Marshawn Lattimore, that really takes him out of the game, which limits the options for Sam Darnold. There's not a plethora of weapons for him. They've got some running backs they like to use, but that's really it. DJ Moore is like the guy for them in the passing game. So this is a game where I'm not comfortable playing Sam Darnold unless maybe I'm in a super flex and I need to put him in there. I'm looking at sitting him. Now, as far as sleepers, really, I've got Brady as a nice little sleeper. He blew it up last week. I mentioned Mike Evans as a good start last week, and he absolutely won people leagues and championships. But I like Brady this week. It's a really big one. I really see the momentum going. Again, like anything else, we don't know how long some of these starters are going to play. A lot of these teams are locked into their seeds. They have no other things to play for except for just keeping the momentum going into the playoffs. Some people like to go in there with a win and just keeping the offense consistently going. So again, we'll see how that goes. But I like Tom Brady as a nice little sleeper this week. So those are my start sits and sleepers for week 18 for the quarterback position. If you guys are new to the channel, I know the season's getting ready to end, but we will be obviously updating our rankings. We'll be updating dynasty content. If you guys are into the dynasty leagues, we'll be talking about that. We'll obviously be going into the rookies and getting ready for that upcoming draft. It's going to be here before you know it, as crazy as that is. And of course, we'll go over recaps of how the season went and things like that. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel and that notification bell is on. We are climbing and climbing, hoping to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So appreciate everybody who has subscribed and those who will. Obviously, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure the like button is greatly appreciated. Make sure you stay tuned. We'll be dropping our start sit videos for the wide receiver, running back, and tight end as well. Again, for those who are playing this week to get you guys into that championship. All right, so make sure you check those out, and I'll check you guys out next time.